Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us here on the Owatonna Today Show. I am Deb Gillard, guest hosting, giving Shelley a little bit of a break this week, so I'll be with you on all of the programs this week, the week of January 20th. And today is, of course, Martin Luther King Day, and we are celebrating that. Schools closed, post office closed. I'm guessing a lot of the financial institutions are closed as well, and in honor of a great man and a great day to celebrate that too. So we are very glad you're with us here on the Owatonna Today Show, which of course can be seen 6 days a week on Charter Channel 8. Also found on the internet on YouTube, blip.tv, and on Facebook. You can do a Google search to find us. You can like us on Facebook, and that way you'll receive notifications when the new programs are up and running, and you'll receive a direct link to each of those. So that's a good way to do it. We like to have our friends on Facebook. Owatonna Today, of course, always welcomes your comments about the show and your ideas for show topics and guests. You can contact us via email at owatonnatoday@charter.net or by calling the show's producer, Leanne Alt, at 390-5751. We do have a great show for you today. Coming up a little bit later on in the program, Johns Havelka joins us from Edward Jones, and we'll be talking about some investment strategies here at the first of the year, some good things to note, maybe pre-tax time. And but before we do that, we'll be taking a little break here and heading out on location to Amy Swain Hearing Centers. So please stay with us. We will be back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltfett of Horizon Eye Care Professionals, eye care you can trust. We're proud supporters of Owatonna Today.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. We are in the offices of Dr. Amy Swain. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Love hanging out with you and spending time with you. It's been a while. Betty's had the privilege the past couple times. But I want to thank you so much for your work that you do, because I know personally that a hearing aid can really make life so much better for people. And yet there are some people who have a hard time talking about it. You know, you can tell them your haircut looks a little off and they're okay with that, but the minute you say, have you thought about getting a hearing aid, they kind of get all back off a she. And my mom is one of those people who, she's adorable and funny, but she can't hear. And you mentioned that. And why do you think that is? What is that stigma that people have for that?
I think a lot of people think that it's just a sign that they're getting older.
And they
nobody wants to get old. We're all young at heart. The average person thinks they're 10 years younger than they actually are. I mean, gosh, I'm in my 20s.
I'm still 7. I don't know. So there's this. So it kind of has this feeling of maybe I'm growing old, and they want to ignore that.
Yeah, they want to ignore the fact that they're getting older. Hearing aids are expensive too, so that's another reason to maybe avoid it. But, just the fact that they think people are going to see the hearing aid and they're going to appear older by wearing it, which really isn't true. And what I don't think a lot of people realize when they have a hearing loss is the hearing loss itself is a lot more obvious than the hearing aid. Because, it's really easy for someone with a hearing loss to say, what did you say, or huh, that type of thing. But then whoever they're with and whoever they're having conversation with, or maybe they're out having dinner, that other person has to repeat the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And after you do that several times, it does get annoying, and it becomes very obvious that you've got a hearing loss.
Well, it's my mom said the two words that they say most often to each other, my mom and my dad, are what and huh.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly the issue.
Yeah.
I had a woman in yesterday, and I thought that this was very interesting to me because, so often children will tell their parents, Mom, you're not hearing, Dad, you're not hearing. But what was really interesting is that this particular woman said that her children had been telling her for quite some time that she's had a hard time hearing, and her husband would say it. But what it took was her sister-in-law, who never says anything hurtful, very, very nice person, said to her one day, I think you should look into a hearing aid. And that's what made her pursue it. So sometimes, sometimes it has to come from a different person other than the children, but you got to find that right person to say something.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit, first of all. Let's talk about the hearing aid itself and how it is not, it's incredible how far hearing aids have come as far as whether they are visible or whether they are not. And so the look of it doesn't necessarily make you older because of the way that they are designed nowadays.
Right. They do look, with the thinner tubes and they're less visible. They almost look like somebody's wearing a little tiny speaker or something. You don't think about it as a hearing aid, And
that's the nice thing. I never thought about that. The Bluetooth technology that we have nowadays, just think you're listening to your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really, that has helped change it. So how do you start that conversation? If you have someone you love, whether it's a parent or a spouse, and you don't want to nag them, how do you start that conversation?
I guess, you start it at a time when they've missed something you've said, especially if you have to repeat it twice to them. Just say, I wonder if maybe you're having a little hard time hearing. Do you think you maybe just have some wax in your ears? Why don't we go in and see? I understand, Dr. Amy Swain does hearing tests and she doesn't charge for them, so we could go down there and just see. It doesn't mean you have to get a hearing aid. You don't even go there, but let's just see.
Let's see what's going on with you and see how we can make this a little bit better. If they are a little bit apprehensive about that, what can you, as Dr. Amy Swain, tell them about the hearing test itself to kind of give them an idea of how uninvasive it really is?
Well, the hearing test is really simple. It's painless. It literally will take 10, 15 minutes at the most. You call and make up an appointment. Like I said, there's no charge. You get into a booth. We put little ear tips in your ears, kind of like the little sponges you might wear for, blocking out noise to protect your ears, the noise protection sponges. Put those in your ears. You raise your hand when you hear a tone, even if it's really soft, and that's pretty much it. Might have you repeat some words back to me, see how your word understanding abilities are. But it's painless. It doesn't take long. It's easy, and then sometimes just when you have a hearing loss, you can have at least, tell people, yes, I have a hearing loss, and tell them to speak directly to you, maybe to get your attention first before they start talking so that you know that you can hear them. But, after a while, just knowing that, you learn to accept the fact that you have the hearing loss, and then maybe sometime down the line you say, yes, I've asked 5 people to repeat today, so I think I will pursue getting a hearing aid.
Because you're aware of that.
You're aware of it.
From a professional aspect, not your annoying husband who tells you not to chew in his ear or whatever, it's somebody professional outside of that. And then also, a hearing loss affects differently whether you're watching TV or whether you're in a restaurant as well. And so those are things to look for as well when you're dealing with someone who you think might have hearing loss.
Right. Well, the one big sign about a hearing loss is if everybody in the house says, you have the TV too loud. Well, that's probably a sign that you got a hearing loss. A lot of people that come in that have more of a mild to moderate hearing loss will say, it doesn't bother me when I'm talking one-on-one with somebody, but boy, when I go into a restaurant and there's that little bit of background noise, I can't hear what is at the table with me. I can't hear my spouse, I can't hear my friends at the table because that background noise is keeping me from hearing the words.
And a hearing aid can help that situation as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in fact, 2 years ago, I would just cringe if somebody told me the day that they were getting their hearing aid that they were going to go into a noisy restaurant, someplace kind of lively like Applebee's or something. If they told me they were going to that restaurant that night, I would just cringe thinking, well, this is the first time you've had a hearing aid, you're going to hate that background noise. But just in the last year or two, that has gotten so much better. People come back and they say, yeah, that really didn't bother me that much. The technology has gotten that much better. And it's amazing to me because I've been doing this for over 20 years, and it is amazing to have somebody walk back in the door and say, that restaurant didn't bother me. That puts a smile on my face.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's really quickly. I would love to talk about the transition. When you started off working with hearing aids, what were they like? They're a little bit bigger.
They were bigger. Very, you definitely noticed them on the ears. And one of the things that I recall is, the only change we could really make is selecting a different speaker in that hearing aid, a speaker with a different frequency response. Maybe it would give a lot more highs than lows, or maybe it would be a flat response depending on the shape of the hearing loss. And the only control we really had, we'd use a little screwdriver, would be to shift a peak to try to help with some of the feedback or whistling issues.
Because we would hear that in church.
Yep.
Every once in a while, somebody's hearing aid would go off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's really the only control we had, maybe a little bit of a tone control type thing that was just a little bit less bass or something that we could change. And then I would say in about early 1990s, 93, somewhere in there, that's when we came across with the programmable ones that gave us a little bit more flexibility, where we could change the pitch of it and the gain and the output.
And what does that do for the person wearing the hearing aid? From 20 years ago to today, do they hear better now?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't have as many whistling issues. The tone, the sound quality is that much better. Less complaints than we had back then. To try to get somebody happy with a hearing aid back then was crazy.
Well, because that's what I wonder if part of maybe some people have a little problem with it is because they remember their grandmother's hearing aid and how annoying that was. And it has come so far. It's really worth coming in, talking to, finding out what level of hearing loss they're at, and then seeing what kind of options, because it's not just one type of hearing aid now. How many different do you have?
I've got about 10 different brands of hearing aids. They come in different styles, different technology levels. It's kind of like, you go out and you shop for a car. I've got all the makes in my car lot. So I've got the Ford, the Chevy, the Mazda, the Toyota, all within my shop here. So I got them all there. And they all have different levels of technology. So they all have the Ford Focus versus, the Mercedes-Benz.
So those who maybe just have a little hard time with background noise to those who have significant hearing loss. Everyone in between.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Love coming and talking to you. And thanks for your work again that you do for people.
Thanks.
We will be right back with the Owatonna Today Show. Please stay with us.
Don't let the cold winter weather stop you from exercising. Keep up your fitness program at the West Hills Tennis and Fitness Center. We offer a variety of different membership packages available on daily, monthly, and yearly basis. We also have a variety of programs and services to help the newest of members get started and to help those who have been around for a while improve on what they are doing. The Tennis and Fitness Center participates in insurance reimbursement programs with a variety of different insurance providers that could make you eligible for up to $20 credit each month. For more information about the West Hills Tennis and Fitness Center, call us at 444-4290.
Everyone deserves opportunities to have a good life, a quality education that leads to a stable job, enough income to support a family through retirement, and good health. But the reality is, many children fall behind, many families are struggling, and many others are in poor health. United Way's goal is to find long-term solutions. Thanks to a grant from the Otto Bremer Foundation, we're hosting community conversations this year to address these issues. If you'd like to join us, please call our office.
Hi, I am Dr. Amy Swain from Amy Swain Hearing Centers, and for more than 20 years I have been helping people hear better. It has been a very rewarding experience, but so many people put off getting help with their hearing. Clients often tell me they wish they had started wearing hearing aids sooner, as their quality of life was improved so much with better hearing. Call me today at 1-800-804-3361 for a free hearing test at Amy Swain Hearing Centers of Owatonna, Austin, and Waseca. That's 1-800-804-3361, where Dr. Amy Swain wants everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Have you talked to your teen about marijuana lately? Maybe you should. Regular marijuana use can sap a teen's motivation to learn. Users do not live up to their potential and drop out of positive activities. Marijuana affects memory and learning and stays in your system for weeks. Marijuana also affects judgment and perception. Reaction time when driving is reduced by 41% after smoking one joint and 63% after smoking two, affecting the safety of your teen and other drivers on the road. You need to talk to your teen about the effects of marijuana use. It's not just a harmless high. For more information, please contact the Steele County Safe and Drug-Free Coalition.
Welcome back, and thanks again for joining us here on this Monday, January 20th, on location with Amy Swain Hearing Centers, and now back in studio, as promised, with John Havelka from Edward Jones. How are you, John?
Doing great. Another beautiful winter day, huh?
Oh, okay. Do we need to use the word beautiful? Yeah. Another winter day, let's just say, because we have had the roller coaster, haven't we?
It's, not good.
I know. Coming off a weekend, I was just talking to Mom up in the cities, and she said, we were supposed to get a dusting of snow. Well, it turned out to be 6 inches, so who knows what
Well, let's make sure it gets below zero tonight. And
cap
that off, right?
Yeah, because we just can't go for more than a few days without having a nice little cold snap anyway. We are glad that you are here.
Yeah,
Kids are off school today and everything, so thanks for being with us.
Of course.
And a little bit along that line, let's just talk a little bit about you. You are a lifelong, born and raised here in Owatonna, correct?
Yes, I escaped for a little bit, but moved back in '97 when we started having children.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, and raising a family. And your wife is?
Amy Jo is a nurse at the high school,
so
she has to work a little bit today, but great hours and does a great job at the high school.
Okay.
So it works great with our 4 kids.
Busy, and they are what ages now?
16, 14, 12, and 9.
And we were just talking about busy,
Yeah.
so you are.
We are, but it's fun.
Right
it's
in
great
the thick
fun.
of activities, right? And you wouldn't want anything different.
Yeah, they're great kids.
Yeah, they are. And your job, you went to work for Edward Jones. How long ago now?
It's a little over 3 years ago.
Okay.
So we moved back to Owatonna in '97, and been in the financial services for about 6 years now.
Okay.
So it's great, getting good at it.
Okay.
We joke around with people.
Getting good at it. Yeah, you're just
figuring it
keep
out.
practicing,
Yeah.
and it'll all be good. But you do a wonderful job for people, and from talking with you a little bit here off camera, it sounds like the training and the company is just behind you all the way.
It's a great organization. It's a limited partnership, but it's really important for the company to train people well, mentor. It's a great company with great values, and it's really customer-centered and one-on-one relationships.
Okay.
So it's really exciting. It fit. It was, that's what I wanted to do, and great company. Yeah, 100 best places to work for in the U.S. One of the top in Minnesota.
Oh, very nice.
So so it's gets a lot of awards.
Good pick.
Yeah,
pick.
it's
And
great
It's been
pick.
great for you and your family.
It
and
has.
It just probably is the kind of job that offers you a little bit of flexibility. Obviously, you have to be available when people need you, and whatever that means. But again, with a busy family, that can be a big help.
Today I'll
for you
need to.
too.
I've got a 4:45 basketball game.
Yeah.
So, it's
All right.
flexibility.
Yeah, that's what you can do when you're
Right.
kind of your own boss
Right.
within a company anyway.
Right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about, I know we have a few things that we want to cover, but let's talk a little bit about if I'm a brand new customer coming to you, or a potential customer, and I say, okay, John, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I don't know how to invest. I'm not sure what I've already done. Here's a work plan. I don't know what would be kind of a first visit for someone. Kind of walk us through that.
It's really important to sit down and talk about your vision and what you want, and what are the goals and the purpose of the money, and just really trying to kind of say, where am I today, and understand where you're at today. Where do you want to be, and that's the goals and the vision piece.
Okay.
And then we kind of take a look at, okay, can I get there? Where am I right now? And then how do I stay on track to get there? And so it's a 5-step process that we use.
Okay.
And at every appointment, that's part of the talking points, and really trying to understand. So for us, it's a lot of questions and understanding where you're at.
Okay.
And that's what I love about the job.
Well, it's not cookie cutter. I mean, I can safely say I'm going to walk in, and then John Doe is going to walk in, and somebody else, and we're all going to have different goals. And I may say, heck, John, when I retire, I want to travel the world. Well, that's not going to be somebody else's dream. But, we definitely need to plan accordingly.
Yeah. So, and these are very broad with a lot of different folks, but really trying to save for retirement, if that's the purpose.
Right.
10 to 15% of your income into some sort of a retirement vehicle is really important. And then, a lot of the times you'll need 11 times your final salary if you want to live the same lifestyle. And that doesn't include a pension, or rental income. There's different types of ways to save. But
so you'll be looking at all of those kinds of things and just factoring them in. What is this going to mean to you?
Right.
It's a lot about taking charge of our own selves, too, because we can't count on other things coming our way, without getting further into detail. But we just can't. We don't know what the future holds as far as other monies that might be coming our way. So we really need to kind of grab hold of.
Yeah, and really talk about control what you can control. We can control how much we save. We can control how diversified we are.
Right.
We can control what the purpose of the money is. But we can't control the market, and we can't control healthcare.
No.
Those are things we can't control what the government does.
Yeah.
So we really focus on what we can control and what's important to that individual investor.
Okay. Aside from everything else. So if everything goes great along those lines, bonus. But if it doesn't, I'm taking care of myself.
Exactly.
We need to talk about, when we talk about investments, and I'm sure you do with every single person, kind of risk.
Yes.
There is risk in
Yes.
investments, and there's
Yes.
lower and greater levels of risk. And is it also about talking about my aversion or tolerance for those kinds of things too?
Right, yeah, there's different kinds of risk. And that first one really is that volatility and how much risk are you willing to take. But there's risk of job loss, there's risk of healthcare changes, there's risk of market declines, risks of inflation, risks of leaving it in cash and not having buying power. So there's a lot of different types of risks.
Okay.
So it's really trying to understand where you're at and what risk you're willing to accept and just understanding what those are.
And it's probably not written in stone. So say we visit again in 6 months and I say, you know what, I kind of changing my tune here.
Right.
I've talked with my husband and we're thinking a little bit more of this. And
Yes,
then
yeah.
you're going to work with that kind of that new plan then.
Yeah, because investing can be really emotional. If the market declines, it's hard to keep emotions out of it.
Yeah.
It's
our money.
Yeah, and it's hard when you lose a job and that becomes the focus, at that time.
Yeah.
Have a child or a parent die. So it's really important to understand those risks and understand the risk tolerance you have. And then it comes back to what's the purpose and the goals and what do we need it to do.
You talked a little bit about emotion. I know that investment professionals such as yourself do try to get the emotion out of it as much as possible and really kind of stay focused on the long term, right?
Yeah, and that's it's exciting. It's exciting times right now with the economy and what's changing. And one of the biggest things is this energy revolution that's happening in Texas and North Dakota.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable the changes in how much energy with natural gas and oil and the less and the opportunities and just the less dependence we have on foreign oil and how that's changing the geopolitical landscape. The economy is getting better. Jobs are getting created, a lot in manufacturing. I just saw an article again in the Owatonna paper about manufacturing.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. There seems to be fewer roadblocks with the government now. They're kind of keeping their noses out of it and not having some of that volatility, which is cool.
Yeah.
Household wealth is getting better. But we do expect the economy to pick up and GDP to grow in 2014. So it's exciting. There's still risks. There's still plenty of things that can affect it. We expect it to be a little bit more volatile.
But it's nice to hear some good news on the horizon or see that things are going in that direction and all those things
really
that you cited
exciting.
really kind of make up the whole picture.
Yeah. So it's really looking at the big picture and what's really true and not true and
that's what you spend your time doing. And here we go back to kind of the training and keeping up with the people that provide you the information. You're really, really right there on the cutting edge of what is going on.
Yeah, and it comes down to what are the facts. And news, they have to sell commercials.
Yeah.
So they got to make sure you come back for more, whether it's good or bad. So it's good news or bad. Who knows? We can't control that.
Yeah.
So it comes back to the goals and comes back to, what you want.
And you're studying the market and you're helping to figure that out.
Right.
So just kind of as a general note, so somebody says, wow, that's a lot to talk about, John. I'm coming in to see you for the first time. I mean, what's a normal first meeting? How much time do you spend generally?
Most of the time it takes 35 to 45 minutes, I suppose, to gather some information.
I mean, honestly, when we first started talking, it sounds like, wow, I'm going to be with John for like 3 hours. But
and it's really to gather a little information and see if it's a good fit.
Yeah.
See if we can help you.
Yeah.
And then the second time we sit down, we dig a little bit deeper and do risk tolerance questionnaires and start making recommendations and
kind of taking it in small pieces and getting us used to the process.
Right.
And obviously, I'm going to guess that you're going to say the earlier you start, the better it is, right? We can talk to our kids and our parents probably talk to us.
It is unbelievable the power that money has over time. It is incredible. If you start at 25 versus 35, and Stephen has a $50,000 salary. If you do 6% and you move that to 8%, it feels like about $85 a paycheck. But over time, it's nearly $100,000 that you'll you'll
Wow.
generate over your
Wow.
lifetime.
You know, I think it's really hard for young people, and it was for me,
Mhm.
it probably was for you, to think in those terms. I'm 20, I'm 25, I'm young, and maybe starting a family, so the bite can feel a little bit harder.
Right.
But I think the statistics obviously bear it out. If you can bite the bullet
If you can,
and
if you
do
can
it,
save.
and
And
just
when you're in
stick with it.
retirement, to stay really diversified and
Yep.
make sure you've got CDs and bonds and dividend paying companies.
Okay.
And really keep yourself diversified, and you'll be fine if you're diversified. Yeah, it's really powerful.
If
It's
you're
cool.
diversified, you're fine. That's the catchphrase of the day.
Yeah.
When you're diversified, you're fine.
You should be.
Well, John, let's let people know how to get a hold of you and where you're located.
Yeah, my office, I'm on 18th Street Southwest, right behind the Salvation Army, next to Huntington's. I can see Hy-Vee out my front window. So it's a great spot.
All right.
And we call it a professional building that we're in, not a strip mall.
You are a professional
Yeah.
building. And your phone number?
446-0150.
Yeah, and you're either going to get John or Nancy there, and
Yeah.
they're going to answer the phone, and they're going to get you pointed in the right direction.
Right,
So thank
yeah.
you very much
Yeah,
for
thanks for
joining
having me
us
here.
and for
Appreciate it.
talking a little bit about the market. It's good to have good news, and it's good to hear
exciting.
from somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
So
it's
have
good.
fun with the kids and the sports and all of that good stuff,
Yeah, thanks.
and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. We'll take a break for our supporters, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Jake with Napa Auto Parts.
Napa has the know-how for all your automotive needs.
Napa is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
United Way of Steele County is all about a safety net in times of crisis,
A strong, safe, healthy community.
Advancing the common good.
Supporting all people in times of need.
Families have financial stability and independence.
Improving the health of community members.
Please join us and all Jostens employees by giving generously, advocating for a better quality of life, and volunteering your time to a partner agency. We all win when we
Live united.
As we wrap up this program on Martin Luther King Day, a few announcements for you. Busy week, the 2013 Steele County Toys for Tots program. We have a couple of thank yous to pass along. First of all, Toys for Tots, that was previous, obviously in 2013. Program collected 2,457 toys, 466 books, and 3,547 stocking stuffers. The total number of families served was 551, and that was 1,328 children receiving gifts during the 2013 holiday season. And Toys for Tots wants to thank absolutely everyone, all of the communities, all of the businesses, and all of the individual support that they had for the recent Toys for Tots program. Music Boosters also of Owatonna would like to sincerely thank the people of Owatonna for their generous support. At their recent fundraiser concert and silent auction, more than $8,000 was raised. These funds go directly to support music programs in grades K through 12, and it is for things like instrument purchases, repair and upkeep, new choir robes, musical camps for students, and many other musical opportunities. So again, thank you to those of you who were able to contribute to that program. Project Community Connect is coming up this Thursday, January 23rd. It will be at St. Joseph Parish on Elm Avenue from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. If you are finding yourself in need of resources, and we don't like to think about things like sleeping on someone else's couch or living in your car or looking for a warm place to stay, this is a great place to come on that day. It's just filled with resources for you or someone that you know that might be in need of this assistance. Legal services, parenting, transportation, food, clothing, housing, disability, dental, all sorts of great things for you there. And it is called Project Community Connect at St. Joseph's from 11 to 2 this Thursday. The Home Energy Workshop and Audit Talking Points. There's a workshop coming up this Thursday, January 23rd at 6:30 in the Owatonna Public Utilities Commission Room. It will be teaching homeowners how to save energy and money in their homes and discuss how the average Minnesota home uses energy. So the cost is normally $50. You receive a $25 discount for attending the workshop. Call the utilities or register online. Their number is 451-2480. That's it for our announcements today. Again, thank you for joining us on this January 20th. We'll be back with you on Wednesday when our guests will be talking with the Walser dealership, the new Walser dealership, and wow, made it all the way through without stumbling. Express Employment Professionals. We'll see you on Wednesday.